We want to kick off with cybersecurity and take it maybe where Dino, my colleague, and the senators left off. As they talked about, in March, it was the first time that the US government has ever publicly accused Russia of hacking into American energy infrastructure. So, Admiral McGinn, what do you think?
I always start with the proposition that our energy security, our economic security, and environmental security are all inextricably linked, and they underpin our very national security and our quality of life. So anything like a cyber attack that threatens our energy security in the electrical or gas infrastructure is a national security threat. We have to take it very, very seriously. There's a lot of good effort that is underway in both the government and in the private sector, but make no mistake, cyber hacking of our utility systems is a national security threat.
And so what do you think? Is the grid safe?
It is. For the most part, it is. There are some nightmarish scenarios that have been discussed and written about in various places, but the grid is a lot more resilient than some folks would think. One of the things that's happening is distributed energy resources. This is microgrids, if you will, or alternative sources. We're not just dependent upon centralized fossil fuel generating plants that if they go down or the transmission lines go down, everybody's out of electricity. We're getting more diverse. We have a long way to go. I'm not trying to trivialize and just be happy and don't worry. I think that we do have a lot of work to do, but I don't see it as a catastrophic threat right now. It is a serious and growing threat. In fact, one way of thinking about cyber security is like, it's the weather. It's always there. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, too much rain, not enough rain, and we need to be always vigilant about the fact that cyber attacks are going to be prevalent, and we need to share the information we learn in discovering and thwarting every one of them.
So Rauf, can you tell us a little bit about the landscape of digital threats facing the energy sector? Because it isn't just Russia that is looking at this.
Well, yeah, it all started with Iran, the Stuxnet cyber attack, and after that, Russia has decided to first attack Ukrainian grid in order to show the world, first of all, to show the United States that it can attack, and also to use it as an act of deterrence against possible attacks to its security, to the national grid. But overall, it's you have to look at it from the general Russian strategy of using proactive and disruptive tactics to undermine the global energy security. It's not just attacking American grid. It's not just attacking Ukrainian grid. It's their comprehensive, very situational, but at the same time proactive approach to energy diplomacy.
Mm-hmm. And unlike in a lot of countries, the energy sector here is privately owned. So how does this factor into the plans for securing the grid? I mean, what's the collaboration like between the government and the private sector here?
There's an outfit called the Electricity Subsector Coordinating Council. It is participated in at a co-chair level at the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Energy, and is represented by CEOs of members of the private sector from all types of utilities, rural electric co-ops, investor-owned utilities, public utilities, and it is a venue in which there's a lot of dialogue. In fact, some of the members of the private sector, senior executives, have pretty high security clearances to be able to have the kind of targeted and really, really serious conversations about defining what kinds of threats are there.